Snow slush clings to Lucy Carter's boots as she charges up the brownstone steps with a lease folder hugged to her chest. The place is supposed to be hers. A vintage Brooklyn duplex with a bay window and an old brick fireplace that looks like it belongs in a holiday catalog. Lucy unlocks the door with a grin, kicks it open, and freezes. Ethan Hall is already inside, leaning against the fireplace mantel like he owns the oxygen in the room. He holds a folder that matches hers down to the building logo and the cheap plastic sleeve. "You have got to be kidding me," Lucy says, the words coming out sharp and bright. "Funny, I was about to say the same thing," Ethan replies, calm as polished stone. Lucy's pulse ticks behind her eyes, because this is not some random stranger. This is the man who ruined her last bid and acted like it was a hobby. "Hall, you are a walking headache." "This apartment is mine," she says, stepping forward like she can take square footage by force. "Carter, the lease in my hand says otherwise. Signed 10 minutes earlier than yours," Ethan says, tapping the signature line with a neat finger. Lucy snatches her own papers open and sees it, the timestamp mocking her in ink. "You forged that," she says, even though her brain knows he did not, because the universe does not hand out that kind of petty miracle. "You can call it fate if you want. I call it being on time," Ethan says, and his mouth almost curves, almost. Footsteps thump on the stairwell, then a key scrapes the lock. Greg Dawson barrels in smelling like cheap cologne and stale coffee, and his smile drops the second he sees the two matching leases. Whoa, hey, let's all take a breath," Greg says, hands up like he is a referee, not the man who caused the collision. "Explain," Lucy says, voice tight enough to cut paper. "I may have made an administrative mistake," Greg admits, eyes darting around the room, as if he can find an exit in the wallpaper. "You rented the same unit twice," Ethan says, as if he is reading weather. "That is not a mistake. That is fraud." Greg swallows. "Now hold on. Nobody said anything about fraud. Look, you can just cancel, right?" Lucy flips to the penalty clause and her stomach drops like an elevator cable snapped. The breach fee is 10 times the monthly rent, a number that makes her startup budget cry out loud. "That is impossible," Lucy says, "because it has to be." "It is very possible," Ethan says quietly, and for the first time his voice sounds less smug and more cautious. "A discount does not cover 10 times rent," Lucy snaps. "You set a trap." Ethan takes a slow breath, eyes on Greg, and Lucy hates that the look on his face is controlled fury, not panic. "Either you fix this, or re-escalate," Ethan says, and his words land with cold certainty. Greg's mouth opens, closes, opens again. A buzzing phone cuts through the tension. Lucy's screen lighting up with Leah Moore's name, and a dozen frantic emojis. "Lucy, please tell me you are already inside, because I am coming up with luggage and a crisis," Leah blurts the moment Lucy answers. "Leah, now is not the time," Lucy says, but the stairwell is already echoing with rolling suitcase wheels. Leah bursts in like a golden retriever in a scarf, cheeks pink from the cold, and eyes wide with adventure and disaster. Behind her, Colin Bell steps in with a duffel bag, and the kind of quiet presence that makes a room feel steadier. "Surprise. I am moving in with you, temporarily, unless you love me enough to make it permanent," Leah says, then notices Ethan and stops dead. "Oh no," Leah whispers, because she recognizes him from Lucy's rants, the villain in a tailored coat. "Oh yes," Ethan says, and somehow it sounds like a threat and a joke at the same time. Colin looks from Lucy to Ethan, then to Greg, then back to Leah, and his brow creases with polite concern. "Is this one of those situations where the apartment is haunted?" Colin asks, voice mild. "Worse," Lucy says. "It is double leased." Greg's eyes gleam at the sight of more potential rent. "Actually, this could be perfect," Greg says quickly. "It is a 4-bedroom, big kitchen, 2 bathrooms. You can all share, split costs. Everybody wins." "Everybody except my sanity," Lucy mutters. Ethan's gaze flicks to Lucy, then to Leah, then to Colin. He is calculating, and Lucy hates that his brain works like a blueprint. "If we stay, we do it with terms," Ethan says, voice even. "You do not get to set terms," Lucy shoots back. "We do if the alternative is paying a penalty that will bankrupt you," Ethan says, low enough that only she catches the edge of concern. Lucy hates that he is right, and hates more that he sounds like he knows exactly how close to the edge she is. Leah lifts her hands. Okay. We can do rules. A roommate treaty. Like the Geneva Convention, but for kitchens." Colin nods once, as if treaties are his love language. Lucy glares at Greg. "And what about you? You do not just get away with this." Greg forces a laugh. Hey, I am a small business guy. I am just trying to survive in New York. So are we, Lucy says. And we are not doing it by scamming people. Ethan steps closer to Greg, just enough that Greg shifts back instinctively. You will amend the lease to reflect a joint tenancy, you will refund the duplicated deposit, and you will put in writing that you will not raise rent for 6 months, Ethan says. That is a lot, Greg protests. Then we go to the tenant board with 2 leases, and your signature on both, Ethan replies. Lucy watches Greg's face pale, and she wants to be smug, but her stomach is still tangled with fury and fear. Greg finally nods, jaw tight. Fine, fine. 6 months, no raise, joint lease, we good. We are not good, Lucy says. We are contained. Leah claps once like she just booked a gig. Containment is great. Great start. Where do we put the Christmas tree? No stealing food, Leah reads aloud, marker in hand. No passive-aggressive notes. Unless they are funny. And no taking the shower longer than 10 minutes. And you believe in chaos, Colin says, eyes on Leah, and the way his mouth softens for half a second is not subtle. Leah pretends she did not hear it, which is also not subtle. Lucy points the marker at Ethan. And you are not allowed to lecture me about being on time, ever again. Fine, Ethan says. Then you are not allowed to accuse me of forgery, ever again. That depends on your behavior, Lucy says, and Leah makes a delighted noise like she is watching live theater. When Greg texts a picture of the amended lease, Ethan checks every line, like he is hunting for hidden landmines. Lucy watches him and hates that he looks competent, because competence is attractive, and she does not want to be attracted to him. She tells herself she is attracted to survival, not to Ethan Hall, and the thought does not settle anything. The next morning starts with the smell of coffee, and the sound of Lucy swearing at a blender. She is trying to make an avocado smoothie because she read somewhere that successful people drink green things. Ethan walks into the kitchen at the exact moment the blender coughs and dies. You killed it, Lucy says. You murdered it, Ethan corrects, then reaches over her shoulder to press a reset switch she did not know existed. The blender hums back to life, and Lucy hates how close his arm is, how warm the air feels between them. Do not loom, she says. Do not sabotage appliances, he replies, and starts seasoning a steak like he is performing a ritual. Who eats steak at 8 in the morning? Lucy demands. People with schedules, Ethan says, and iron deficiencies. You are not a person. You are a blueprint in a coat, Lucy says. Ethan's eyes flick to her with a spark of amusement. And you are a hurricane in boots. Lucy opens her mouth to respond, but Leah barrels in, hair in a messy bun, camera strap around her neck like armor. I call the oven. I am making cinnamon rolls, Leah announces. The oven is for my steak, Ethan says. The oven is for joy, Leah counters. The oven is for whoever cleans it afterward, Colin says from the doorway, and all 3 of them pause like he just cast a spell. Colin steps in carrying a paper bag that smells like pastries and peppermint. I brought muffins. We can negotiate from a position of baked goods, he says. Lucy's stomach grumbles traitorously. Ethan glances at the muffins, then at Lucy. Fine. Truce until after breakfast. Truce, Lucy agrees, and Leah scribbles truce on muffins onto the house rules list like it is a sacred clause. The moment they try to cook together, the kitchen becomes a battlefield anyway. Lucy reaches for olive oil, bumps the bottle, and it tips toward the hot pan. Ethan's hand flashes out, catching it before it spills, but the oil splatters anyway, a sharp hiss, a sting on skin. Lucy sees Ethan's knuckles redden and her chest tightens without permission. You are burned, she says, voice smaller than she wants. It is nothing, Ethan says, but his jaw clenches. Lucy shoves past him, yanks open a drawer, and finds the first aid kit Leah apparently stocked like she expected war. Sit, Lucy orders. I am not your client, Ethan says. Sit, she repeats, and Ethan sits, because some commands are universal. She runs cool water over his hand, then dabs ointment with careful fingers. His skin is warm under her touch, and the silence between them turns loud. You are being nice, Ethan says quietly. Do not get used to it, Lucy replies, but her fingers do not hurry. Across the counter, Leah is pretending to knead dough with intense focus, while secretly watching them in the reflection of a toaster. Colin nudges Leah's elbow. Stop spying. I am not spying. I am documenting a historic détente, Leah whispers. You are grinning, Colin says. Colin's eyes linger on Leah's mouth, and Lucy catches it, and suddenly she is aware there are 2 stories unfolding in this kitchen. They eat on the living room floor, because the dining table has not been assembled, and Leah calls it bohemian. When Greg knocks later that afternoon, Lucy is ready to bite. Just checking in, he says, eyes scanning their boxes and coats. Also, rent is due early this month. No, Lucy says flatly. That is not a conversation, Greg says. It is, Ethan replies, standing up. The amended lease specifies the due date. You do not get to improvise. Greg puffs up. You think you can talk to me like that? We think we can report you like that, Leah chirps, lifting her camera, smile for evidence. Greg's face tightens. Put that away. Make us, Lucy says, and the four of them share a look that feels like a handhold. Greg leaves with threats under his breath, and Lucy watches the door click shut. I hate him, Lucy says. Same, Ethan says, and the fact that they agree makes something inside her loosen. By day 3, the house rules list has grown into a legal document. There is a section titled Shower Warfare, another titled Fridge Boundaries, and one ominously labeled Do Not Touch the Fireplace. Lucy discovers Ethan alphabetizes the spice rack, and she tells him that is a cry for help. Ethan discovers Lucy has 3 different kinds of tape for fabric and labels them like precious children. Masking tape is for amateurs, Lucy says. I have never been insulted by tape before, Ethan replies. Leah uses the bay window as her photo studio, draping scarves and ornaments, and making Colin hold a string of lights like a model. Turn your shoulder. No, the other shoulder. Yes. Perfect, Leah says, camera clicking. I am a veterinarian. I do not know how to pose, Colin says. Everyone knows how to pose. You just do not know you know, Leah replies, and Colin's eyes soften again. Leah moves them back to the banister, declaring the stack looks sad. Colin buys a small basket for scarves and places it at the base of the stairs like a peace offering. You are nesting, Leah says, suspicious. I am problem solving, Colin says. Same thing, Leah replies, and she smiles like she is pleased and terrified at once. One evening, Lucy comes home to find Ethan kneeling in front of the fireplace, hands black with soot. What are you doing? She asks, alarmed. Cleaning. The flue was clogged. Greg would never handle it, Ethan says, not looking up. Lucy's throat tightens for no reason she wants to name. You could have started a fire, she says. I did not, Ethan replies, then adds softer, I would not risk you. Lucy freezes, because the words slide under her defenses like a key. Do not say things like that, she mutters. Then stop making me want to, Ethan says, still not looking up, and Lucy's heartbeat turns loud again. Leah's crisis shows up on day 5 in the form of a man, with too much cologne and too many roses. He rings the bell like he has rights to the building, and leans against the railing like he has rights to Leah. The next week hits Lucy like a deadline shaped like a truck. Her biggest client yet, a boutique hotel in Midtown, wants 3 full concept boards in 72 hours. The client also wants Lucy to attend a late-night meeting in a lounge that smells like money and bad decisions. It is a trap, Leah says, chewing her lip as Lucy scrolls through the email. It is work, Lucy replies, forcing confidence. Ethan reads over her shoulder, expression tightening. They are fishing for leverage. They will demand concessions once you commit, Ethan says. I cannot afford to lose this contract, Lucy says. You also cannot afford to be cornered, Ethan replies, voice low. Lucy bristles. I can handle myself. I know, Ethan says, and the surprising gentleness in his tone makes her irritation wobble. That night, Lucy stays up at the living room table, laptop open, swatches spread like fallen leaves. Her eyes burn. Her brain stutters. Every concept looks wrong by 2 a.m. She hears soft footsteps and looks up to find Ethan standing there with a mug of tea. Chamomile, he says. You are vibrating. I am fine, Lucy lies. Ethan sets the mug down beside her and looks at her screen. Your palate is too safe, he says. Excuse me, Lucy says, offended on principle. You are scared of them, Ethan replies. Lucy's throat tightens. I am not scared. Then stop designing like you are asking permission, Ethan says, and his words hit the exact bruise she tries to ignore. Lucy rubs her eyes, tired of fighting. I do not know what they want. They want you to bend, Ethan says. Do not. Make them chase you. He pulls out a notebook and flips it open, sketching quick lines, turning her ideas into shapes that feel bolder. Lucy watches his hand move, the precision, the ease, and realizes he is not trying to take her work, he is trying to build a bridge. Why are you helping me? She asks, suspicious even while grateful. Ethan's pencil pauses. Because you should win, he says simply. That is not an answer, Lucy says. It is the only one you get tonight, Ethan replies, and goes back to sketching. Lucy drinks the tea and feels the warmth slide into her chest like a small surrender. 2 days later, Lucy's client meeting ends with a contract and a smile that feels like victory. She leaves the lounge at midnight, breath frosting in the streetlight, and realizes her hands are shaking. The email follow-up pings her phone, and attached is a revised scope document covered in notes. Lucy scrolls, frowning, because the notes are sharp and practical and written in a handwriting she knows too well. She stops walking, heart thudding, because she has seen Ethan's handwriting on blueprints, on house rules, on the label that says "Do not touch the fireplace." The loops and angles match perfectly. Lucy turns around and heads back home with her victory tasting suddenly complicated. Ethan is in the kitchen when she storms in, sleeves rolled up, washing a pen like he lives here on purpose. "Did you send this?" Lucy demands, shoving her phone toward him. Ethan glances, then exhales like the air has been knocked out of him. "Yes," he admits. "You contacted my client," Lucy says, voice rising. "I contacted their project manager. I clarified deliverables so they could not squeeze you later," Ethan replies, steady. "You went behind my back," Lucy snaps. "I went around a wall you keep pretending is not there," Ethan says, and his calm makes her angrier. "I did not ask you to save me," Lucy says. "I did not do it to save you," Ethan replies. "I did it because they were going to corner you, and you were too exhausted to see the angle." Lucy's vision blurs with emotion she hates. "Why are you always interfering?" Ethan's jaw tightens. "Because I have watched you get punished for saying no, and it makes me want to burn things." Lucy freezes, because a memory detonates in her mind. 2 years ago, in a glass meeting room, a client had leaned too close, voice oily, suggesting Lucy could win the bid if she was more cooperative. Lucy had refused, furious, and the next day she found herself mysteriously removed from the project scope. At the time, she blamed Ethan, because Ethan got the contract, and the world loves simple villains. Now she sees it in a new light, a shape that fits differently. That day, Lucy whispers, "The bid. You did not steal it." Ethan does not look away. "No. You took the contract anyway," Lucy says, voice shaking. "I took it because they were going to use someone else to cover their mess," Ethan replies. "I took it so I could cut their leverage and keep you out of their loop." Lucy's throat closes. "You never told me. You hated me already," Ethan says softly, "and I did not want you to think I did it to look good." "I thought you were a snake," Lucy says, tears burning, angry at herself, at him, at the time they lost. "I know," Ethan says, and his voice is rougher now. "I let you." Lucy laughs once, sharp and broken. "That is insane." "It is what I chose," Ethan replies. Lucy's hands tremble. "Why?" Ethan stares at her like the answer has been living in his throat for years. "Because I have been in love with you since the first time you told a billionaire client to go to hell," he says, and the room goes silent around the words. Lucy's heart lurches. "Do not joke." "I am not," Ethan says, stepping closer. Lucy should move. She does not. His hand lifts, hesitant, and brushes a tear off her cheek with his thumb. "I wanted you safe," Ethan murmurs, "even if you never forgave me." Lucy's breath catches. She leans in without deciding to, drawn by gravity and apology, and something fierce. Their mouths are inches apart, when the living room erupts with laughter. "I am telling you, the lens is not haunted," Leah calls, followed by Colin's calm reply. Lucy jerks back like she has been burned, face blazing. Ethan closes his eyes for a second, then opens them with a small, helpless smile. "We should talk later," Lucy says, voice thin. "We will," Ethan replies, and the promise in it is steady. In the living room, Leah is kneeling by her camera bag, muttering as she cleans a lens. Colin sits cross-legged beside her, holding a microfiber cloth like he has held fragile things before. "Jared texted me again," Leah says, forcing lightness. "He says he will win me back." "He will not," Colin says. "You sound very sure," Leah teases, and the wobble in her voice betrays nerves. Colin's eyes lift to hers. "I am sure." Leah's breath catches. "You cannot be sure. You are not even really my boyfriend." Colin's mouth twitches. "Do you want me to be?" Leah's cheeks go red so fast it is almost comical. "Colin," she warns. "I am asking," he says, still calm, but his fingers tighten on the cloth. Leah looks down at her hands. "I do not want to ruin us." "You will not ruin anything," Colin says softly. Leah laughs, small and nervous. "That is a bold claim." "I am a veterinarian. I handle bold animals daily," Colin replies, and Leah snorts despite herself. Colin reaches out and tucks a loose strand of her hair behind her ear, careful, as if the moment might shatter. Leah's eyes widen. You are not playing fair, she whispers. Neither are you, Colin says, and his smile is gentle and devastating. Lucy watches from the hallway, heart squeezed tight, because she recognizes the fear in Leah and the patience in Colin. Ethan appears beside Lucy, voice low. They are obvious. Do not say obvious, Lucy mutters. The weekend brings a surprise dusting of snow, light and pretty, and useless for warmth. Leah insists on a snow-themed photo shoot in the bay window. We are a found family of chaos. That is content, Leah declares. We are not content, Lucy says, but she sits anyway, hair messy, sweater oversized, cheeks warm from the fire. Ethan rolls his eyes, but ends up holding a string of fairy lights behind Lucy like a halo, because Leah bullies him with the camera. Smile, Leah orders. I do not smile on command, Ethan says. You do when Lucy insults you, Leah replies. Lucy snorts, and Ethan's mouth curves, just a little, and Leah makes a satisfied noise like she just captured proof of magic. Colin watches Leah through the lens, and Lucy sees how his expression changes, how it softens into something protective and hungry. Leah catches Colin staring and flips the camera toward him like a shield. Stop looking at me like that, she blurts. Like what? Colin asks, pretending innocence poorly. Like you are about to affix me, Leah says, and the fear in her voice makes Lucy's chest ache. Colin's gaze goes gentle. I am not trying to fix you. I like you. Exactly. Leah goes very still, then looks away fast, blinking hard. You are dangerous, she whispers. Only to men who do not respect your no, Colin replies, and Leah's shoulders relax a fraction. On Sunday, Ethan finds Lucy in the kitchen staring at the dead thermostat like she can intimidate it back to life. Come with me, Ethan says. Where? Lucy asks, suspicious. Outside, Ethan replies. You have been trapped here for 3 days. You need air. I have air, Lucy says, waving a hand. You have legal fumes, Ethan says. Put on a coat. Lucy should refuse out of habit. Instead, she grabs her scarf and follows him into the cold. They walk to a nearby street market where vendors sell wreaths, roasted nuts, and handmade ornaments. The city smells like cinnamon and exhaust, and the sidewalks glitter with early holiday lights. Ethan buys 2 cups of hot cider without asking, then hands one to Lucy like it is a peace treaty. This is bribery, Lucy says. This is insulation, Ethan replies. They stop at a stall selling vintage postcards, and Lucy runs her fingers over the old paper, imagining stories. Ethan watches her, quiet, like he is memorizing the way she smiles when she forgets to guard it. You look different when you are not angry, Ethan says. Do not ruin it, Lucy replies, but her voice is softer now. A car splashes slush near the curb and Ethan shifts instinctively, stepping between Lucy and the spray. The gesture is small, automatic, and it guts her. You do that a lot, Lucy murmurs. Do what? Ethan asks. Put yourself in the way, Lucy says. Ethan's eyes hold hers. I told you, I would rather take the hit than watch you take it. Lucy's breath fogs between them. Ethan, she whispers, his name tasting new in her mouth. For a moment, the street noise fades, and it is just the two of them, and the heat of cider, and unspoken years. Ethan's hand lifts, hesitates, then cups her cheek gently, thumb warm against her skin. Tell me to stop, he says, voice low. Lucy should. She does not. Ethan leans in, slow, giving her time, and Lucy meets him halfway, because the pull is stronger than her pride. Their lips touch, soft and careful at first, then deeper as Lucy's hands grip his coat, anchoring herself. A cheer erupts nearby as someone wins a game at a booth, and Lucy laughs into the kiss, breathless and stunned by her own joy. Ethan pulls back just enough to look at her, eyes dark and bright. Hi, he murmurs. Do not say hi like we just met, Lucy whispers, cheeks burning. We are meeting again, Ethan says, and his smile is real now, disarming in a way that scares her. Lucy's phone buzzes, and reality slams back in. Leah's name flashes, followed by a text in all caps. Jared is back and he is mad. Lucy and Ethan sprint home, hearts still pounding from cold and kiss and panic. They find Leah by the front window, peeking through the curtain like a spy in a rom-com. He is outside. He will not leave, Leah whispers. Colin stands behind her, calm but tense, sleeves rolled up like he is ready to haul something heavy. Ethan's expression hardens. Call the police if he trespasses. He is not doing anything illegal yet, Leah says, voice thin. Lucy steps up beside her and looks out. Jared is on the sidewalk, pacing, phone in hand, face red with anger. He is live streaming, Leah says, horrified. He is telling people I am a liar. Lucy's stomach drops. He is trying to pressure you publicly. Colin's jaw tightens. Give me your phone. Leah hands it over, confused. Colin scrolls through Jared's messages, then takes a screenshot of each threat and saves them to a folder. Documentation, Colin says, voice steady. Now we have a record. Ethan opens the door and steps onto the stoop. Lucy's heart lurches, because Ethan looks too calm, like he is about to dismantle someone with words. You need to leave, Ethan calls. Jared spins. Who are you? Her new boyfriend's club? I am the tenant. And you are harassing someone who lives here, Ethan replies. Jared laughs. She lied to me. She played me. Leah steps forward, shaking but brave. I told you not. I told you to stop. You did not. Jared's expression twists. Because you liked the attention. You like being chased. Colin appears beside Leah, hand settling at her lower back, steady and protective. Do not speak about her like that, Colin says, voice low. Jared's eyes narrow. So it is true. You are the boyfriend. Yes, Colin says, and the word is a choice this time, not a strategy. Leah's breath catches, and Lucy feels her own eyes sting for reasons she will not admit. Jared takes a step closer, anger boiling. You think you can just take her from me? She is not an object, Colin says. Back off, Ethan says, tone warning. Jared lunges, not at Colin, but at Leah, hand reaching like he can grab control back. Lucy moves instinctively, stepping between them, shoving Jared's hand away with a sharp slap. Touch her again and I will ruin you, Lucy snaps. Jared recoils, shocked, then sneers. You think you can threaten me? We do not have to threaten you, Ethan says. We can report you. We have recordings. We have messages. Leah lifts her phone, hands trembling but eyes fierce. And I am done being polite. Jared's gaze flicks between them and calculates odds. He spits a curse, then backs away, still filming, still angry. This is not over, he shouts, then storms down the sidewalk into the snow. The door closes. The room is silent except for Leah's uneven breathing. Colin turns to Leah, his hand still at her back. Are you okay? He asks, voice softening instantly. Leah's eyes fill. I hate that I get scared, she whispers. Being scared is not the problem, Colin replies. Being alone would be. Leah swallows, then leans into him, forward pressing against his chest. Colin's arms wrap around her carefully, as if she is fragile and fierce at the same time. Lucy looks away, throat tight, and finds Ethan watching her. His gaze is gentle, and it reminds her of their kiss and the way he asked for her permission. Lucy's stomach flips, because she wants to be held, and she also wants to stay in control. Ethan steps closer, voice low. Are you okay? He asks, as if the question is for her too. I am fine, Lucy says automatically. Ethan's eyes narrow with mild disbelief. That is your favorite lie. Lucy exhales, then admits quietly, I am not sure. Ethan's hand finds hers, fingers warm, grip steady. Then be unsure with me, he murmurs. Lucy squeezes back before she can overthink it. On Monday, they file the report with every screenshot, every photo, and the 2 identical leases. Greg tries to bluff with new threats, then goes quiet when the city schedules a mediation. A week later, they sit in a beige office with a mediator and a board lawyer on Greg's side. Lucy speaks first, calm and clear, laying out the double lease, the deposit, and the intimidation in plain dates. Ethan backs her with exact clauses and timestamps, voice sharp enough to cut excuses. Leah submits the padlock photos and Jared's harassment messages as proof they document everything now. Colin explains the safety risk of any utility shutoff, steady and professional. The mediator's expression hardens as Greg's story collapses under his own signatures. By the end, Greg is ordered to refund the duplicate deposit, freeze the rent per the amended lease, and pay penalties for misconduct. Outside, Leah whoops, Colin catches her before she trips, and Lucy laughs with relief she cannot hide. That night, they eat takeout on the living room floor again, raising cheap sparkling cider like it is champagne. Lucy meets Ethan's eyes over the rim of her cup, and the look between them feels like a door finally opening. The first week of December arrives, like a switch flipped across the city. Store windows glow. People carry trees down sidewalks like they are dragging happiness home. Leah declares their duplex a holiday project and drafts everyone into decorating duty. We need a tree, wreaths, garlands, and a theme, Leah says, pacing the living room like a general. Colin raises a hand. I can pick up a tree after work. My clinic is near a lot. You are a hero, Leah says, eyes shining. Colin's mouth twitches. Do not praise me. It makes me nervous. Good, Leah says. Stay nervous. It keeps you sharp. It is dramatic, Ethan says. It is festive, Lucy says. It is loud, Ethan insists. You are loud, Lucy shoots back. Ethan looks at her, amused. Only around you. Do not tell me what to do, Ethan replies, then leans in and murmurs, you look good when you are bossy. Lucy nearly drops a box of glass ornaments. Stop, she hisses, but her smile gives her away. Back home, Leah blasts holiday music and forces everyone into a decorating assembly line. Colin arrives carrying a tree that is almost too big for the living room, needles shedding like confetti. Colin, Lucy gasps. That tree is a hazard. It was the last one, Colin says, mild. It is beautiful, Leah breathes, eyes wide, then turns to Colin. You carried that alone? It was the workout, Colin admits. Leah reaches up and brushes a pine needle from his shoulder, fingers lingering for a second too long. Colin goes still, eyes dropping to her hand. Leah snatches her fingers back like she touched fire. Okay, lights, Leah squeaks, turning too fast and smacking her knee into the coffee table. Ow, she yelps. Colin is instantly at her side, kneeling, hands hovering like he is afraid to touch without permission. Are you hurt? He asks, voice soft. No, I am fine. I am just a clumsy, Leah says, face red. I like your clumsy, Colin murmurs, and Leah stares at him like he just said something illegal. Lucy watches, heart pounding for her friend. Ethan nudges Lucy's shoulder. You are staring, he murmurs. I am monitoring, Lucy whispers back. You are emotionally invested, Ethan says. Shut up, Lucy says, but she does not deny it. They string lights. They hang ornaments. They argue about the star on top. The star is crooked, Ethan says. The star is whimsical, Leah says, hanging from a chair to adjust it. The star is a lawsuit waiting to happen, Colin says, holding Leah's waist to keep her from tipping. Leah freezes, breath caught, as Colin's hands steady her, firm and gentle. Lucy sees Leah's throat bob with a swallow. You are holding me, Leah whispers. You are wobbling, Colin replies, voice low. I wobble. It is my brand, Leah says, but her voice is shaky. Colin's hands linger for a second longer than necessary before he lets go. The tree finally stands glowing, and lopsided and perfect, and the living room feels warmer than the fireplace alone can make it. They sit on the floor surrounded by boxes and ribbon, sipping hot chocolate. Lucy leans into Ethan's side without thinking, and Ethan's arm wraps around her shoulders like he has been waiting for permission. Leah curls against Colin's shoulder, pretending it is because she is tired. Colin does not pretend. His hand rests on her arm, thumb stroking slowly, like he is soothing a skittish animal. For a moment, the apartment is quiet except for music and breath and the soft hum of lights. A week before Christmas, Lucy comes home to find the front door slightly ajar. Her stomach drops. Did you forget to lock it? She calls, stepping inside slowly. No answer comes, only the faint hum of the refrigerator and the glow of the Christmas tree. Lucy's hands shake as she reaches for her phone. Ethan appears from the hallway, eyes sharp, finger to his lips. Lucy's pulse spikes. What is happening? She whispers. Ethan points toward the basement door. A soft scraping sound comes from below, metal on metal, like someone is working a lock. Lucy's blood turns cold. Greg, she breathes. Ethan nods once, expression hard. Leah appears behind them holding her camera, eyes wide, mouth silent but fierce. Colin steps in with his phone already recording, calm and deadly serious. The scraping stops, then the basement door creaks open a few inches. Greg's face appears in the gap, sweaty and furious. What the hell are you doing? Lucy snaps, voice loud now, anger overriding fear. Greg startles, then scowls. This is my property. I can inspect it. With bolt cutters, Ethan says, eyes flicking to the tool in Greg's hand. I had to get in. You changed the lock, Greg snarls. You put a padlock on utilities. We removed illegal hardware, Ethan replies. Leah lifts her camera. Smile, Greg. This is going to be great for our complaint follow-up. Greg's eyes dart to the lens and his face twists with hatred. You think you can embarrass me, Greg spits. I will have you all out by New Year. You will not, Colin says calmly. We have video of you attempting unlawful entry. Greg's shoulders tense like he might lunge, and Lucy feels Ethan shift in front of her again, a protective wall. Do not, Lucy warns. Greg's eyes flick to Lucy. You are the problem. You and your mouth. Lucy takes a step forward, despite Ethan's presence. My mouth is why you are being held accountable. Get out. Greg's breathing turns harsh. Greg's face drains of color. You called the cops, he snaps. We called for safety, Colin replies. Greg backs away, curse spilling from his mouth, then bolts down the basement stairs and out the back door. Lucy sits on the couch afterward, shaking, adrenaline crashing into exhaustion. Ethan kneels in front of her, eyes searching her face. Are you hurt? He asks, voice gentle. No, Lucy whispers, just angry. Ethan's hand cups her cheek. Anger is allowed. Lucy swallows hard. You keep stepping in front of me. Ethan's expression is steady. I will keep doing it. I do not want you hurt because of me, Lucy says, voice breaking. Ethan's thumb brushes her cheek. You are not a burden. You are a reason. Lucy's eyes sting. That is a dangerous thing to say. It is true, Ethan replies. Lucy leans forward and presses her forehead to his shoulder, breathing, letting herself be held. Ethan wraps his arms around her, firm and warm, and Lucy realizes she trusts this more than she thought she could. Later that night, Leah finds her old journal tucked on a shelf in Colin's room. She freezes, heart hammering, because she remembers what is inside. She wrote about him for years, about every time he smiled, every time he showed up, every time she wanted more and swallowed it down. Leah clutches the journal and rushes to the hallway, only to collide with Colin. What is that? Colin asks gently, gaze dropping to the journal. Leah's cheeks burn. Nothing. Colin's eyes soften. It is not nothing. Leah's voice shakes. Did you read it? Colin hesitates, then answers honestly. I saw it once. I did not read every page. I read enough to understand. Leah's breath catches. You understood that I am pathetic. You understood that you loved someone and were terrified, Colin corrects softly. That is not pathetic. Leah's eyes flood. You should have said something. Colin's jaw tightens. I wanted you to choose me without pressure. I wanted you to feel safe. Leah laughs, wet and shaky. You are too good. I am not, Colin says, stepping closer. I am just in love with you. Leah freezes. Do not say that like it is easy. It is not easy, Colin replies. It is just true. Leah grips the journal so hard her knuckles whiten. I have liked you since I was 17, she whispers. Colin's breath catches, eyes darkening. I know. How? Leah demands. Because I have been there, Colin says. Every time you needed someone. I was hoping it would be me. Leah's throat tightens. It was you. It has always been you. Colin's hands lift, stopping short. May I? He asks, voice low. Leah nods once, tears spilling. Colin cups her face gently and kisses her, slow and careful, like he is asking permission with every second. Leah clutches his sweater, melting into the kiss, relief and joy flooding her like warmth. When they part, Leah laughs through tears. We are going to make this apartment unbearable, she whispers. Colin's smile is soft. We already did. Christmas Eve arrives with a heavy sky and a weather alert that makes the city tense. Snow starts in the afternoon, soft flakes turning sidewalks into bright hush. Leah runs around the apartment in holiday socks, humming, cheeks glowing. Colin follows her with steady hands, carrying a tray of gingerbread men like precious cargo. Do not eat the ones with crooked smiles, Leah warns. Those are art. Everything you touch becomes art, Colin replies, and Leah grins like she won a prize. Lucy stands by the window, watching snow thicken, feeling a strange mix of peace and fear. Ethan comes up behind her, quiet. Lucy turns and finds him holding a small box wrapped in brown paper and red ribbon, simple and careful. What is that? She asks, heart pounding. A gift, Ethan says. Lucy takes the box, hands trembling, and opens it slowly. Inside is a set of professional interior design tools she has wanted for months, sleek and expensive, the kind she would never buy for herself. Lucy's eyes sting. Ethan, she whispers. Lucy looks up at him, overwhelmed. Lucy swallows hard, then reaches into her pocket and pulls out a box of her own, wrapped messily because she is not Leah. Ethan takes it, brows raised, and opens it. Inside is the drafting pencil set, clean and precise, the kind his eyes immediately appreciate. Ethan's mouth parts slightly, surprised. I notice everything, Lucy says, then grimaces. That sounded creepy. Ethan laughs, a real laugh, and Lucy feels it in her chest like a vibration. It sounded like care, Ethan says. Lucy's eyes sting again, annoyed at her own emotions. Lucy's breath catches. Ethan, she says, voice shaking. What happens when the lease is over? In 6 months. Ethan's expression turns serious. We do not have to leave, he says. We might, Lucy insists. And you have a career, a path. You do not need this chaos. Ethan steps closer, gaze steady and intense. I chose this chaos, he says. I chose you. Lucy's heart stutters. Do not say chose like I am inevitable. You are, Ethan replies, voice rough. Lucy's hands shake. I am scared you will get tired of me. Ethan's eyes soften, and his hand cups her cheek. Lucy, I have been tired of everything except you, he says. I love you. The words land like a bell ringing through her bones. Lucy's breath catches. Tears spill before she can stop them. Do not look at me like I am breaking, she whispers. You are not breaking, Ethan murmurs. You are opening. Lucy lets out a shaky laugh, then presses her forward to his chest. I love you too, she whispers, the truth terrifying and bright. Ethan's arms wrap around her, firm and safe, and Lucy clings to him like she finally found a home in a person. Leah's voice calls from the kitchen. Okay, lovers. We need you for the gingerbread assembly line. Lucy jerks back, face flaming. Lucy glares. You are all dead. Ethan's mouth curves. They are not dead. They are happy. Lucy huffs, but she cannot stop smiling. Dinner is a chaotic feast made from whatever they could carry home before the snow got serious. They eat pasta, gingerbread, and microwaved vegetables, and somehow it feels like a holiday spread. Snow piles against the window, the world outside muffled and distant. Lucy sits tucked under Ethan's arm, heart calm in a way she is not used to. Leah sits between Colin's legs on the rug, back against his chest, his arms around her like a promise. Halfway through the movie, Leah suddenly clears her throat, nervous energy crackling. Okay, Leah says. We are doing this, officially. Lucy sits up. Doing what? Leah turns in Colin's arms and looks up at him, eyes shining. Colin Bell, you have been my best friend forever. You have been my safe place. And I have been in love with you forever, Leah says, voice trembling but brave. Colin's eyes soften. I know, he murmurs. Do not say I know. Say something dramatic, Leah snaps, then laughs nervously. Colin smiles, then cups her face. Leah Moore, I love you. I have loved you for so long it feels like part of my bones, he says, voice low and steady. Leah's eyes fill. That is dramatic. Good job. Colin laughs softly, then kisses her, slow and certain, and the room feels warmer. Lucy wipes at her eyes, pretending it is the movie. Ethan presses a kiss to Lucy's temple. You are crying, he murmurs. No, Lucy lies. Yes, Ethan says gently. Shut up and hold me, Lucy whispers. Gladly, Ethan replies, tightening his arms around her. Inside, for people who did not plan to share everything anyway. They laugh. They tease. They eat the gingerbread that Leah insisted was art. They talk about next year like it is real, like it belongs to them. At midnight, the neighborhood church bells ring faintly through the snow. Leah raises her glass again. Merry Christmas, she whispers. Merry Christmas, Lucy echoes, and for the first time in years, the words do not taste like loneliness. A formal notice shows up from the tenant board with fines and compliance requirements. Lucy pins the tenant board notice on the fridge like a trophy. We should frame it, Leah says. We should set it on fire, Lucy replies. We should keep it for records, Colin says, and everyone groans because Colin is right, and they hate it. Ethan stands behind Lucy, arms around her waist, chin resting on her shoulder. You did good, he murmurs. We did, Lucy corrects, and Ethan smiles against her hair. One cold morning, Lucy wakes to find Ethan making coffee, Leah humming while editing photos, and Colin packing his clinic bag. Ethan walks to her and kisses her gently, like punctuation on a sentence that finally makes sense. Colin clears his throat, amused. If you two are done being disgusting, I need the keys. Leah laughs, running to kiss Colin quickly. Be safe. And come home early. Home, Colin repeats, eyes on Leah, and the word sounds like a vow. When the door closes behind him, Leah turns to Lucy with a grin. So, 2 couples, 1 roof. What could go wrong, Leah asks. Lucy glances at Ethan, then at the glowing tree, then at the quiet snow outside. Everything, Lucy says, smiling, and we will handle it.
Thanks for watching. Follow for more romance stories.